Hello everyone and welcome to this important episode of Ignition Time. Thank you so much for being a viewer and a subscriber. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda. This channel, the Ignition Time channel, is about the country, the economy, as well as your money. I have both good news and bad news about the $300 a week unemployment benefit booster that was signed into law, the American Rescue Plan, signed into law by President Biden. There he is. Thank you so much, President Biden, more than a week ago. Well, folks, the good news is that states are now starting to program the $300 a week. But unfortunately, there is some bad news. I'll get into all of that in this video, and I want you to be aware of this because this could protect you from a lot of trouble coming down the road. And the big reason for that is the amount of unemployment benefit fraud has been just unbelievable. So much so that senators have actually chimed in on this, and so much so that the IRS has issued guidelines about what to do in case you become a victim of unemployment fraud, which is affecting as much as 10% of all unemployment claims, according to some reports. Just unbelievable when you think about that. So let's start with the most important thing. When will the extra $300 a week in unemployment benefits start? You'll see this article on your screen from Fox News. When will the extra $300 in unemployment benefits start? Different states need a different amount of time in order to be able to program their system to continue the extension of the $300 a week unemployment benefits through the 6th of September, through Labor Day. And remember, they need to pay this on top of their state benefits. So it's not as simple as them just flipping a switch and extending the unemployment benefits. They actually need to read the law. They need to be able to talk to their engineers. They then need to be able to program the extension of the unemployment benefits. And at the same time, they need to make sure they receive this money from the federal government, because this money is not coming from the states. The extra $300 a week booster is coming from the federal government to the states and is intended to be disbursed to you if you're on unemployment benefits. In fact, here's a quote from Susan Levine, who's the Principal Deputy Assistant Secretary at the Labor Department's Employment and Training Administration Center. This is important. And by the way, this is from an internal memo that was sent out by the Labor Department to different states across the country. You will show you that memo on your screen right now. And as we scroll through the memo, let me essentially highlight what is essentially the most important part of the memo. The most important part of the memo is this: acknowledging that states need time to modify their computer systems to accommodate the extensions and modifications under the American Rescue Plan. The department expects many states may need until the middle of April or later to implement the new provisions and begin notifying individuals. Now, here's the important thing. Your state may be quick and may be able to immediately get the money out, because Colorado was one such state that actually did this and sent out the money fairly quickly. In other words, in Colorado, the residents are not going to see an interruption in the $300 a week. However, there are other states that are way behind schedule and that could see essentially a temporary lapse in the $300 a week. But I want you to be rest assured that when they do catch up, you will see that back pay, if you will, that retroactive pay for the $300 a week. So let's say you don't get the $300 a week in the last 2 weeks of March, you will end up getting the $300 a week for those 2 weeks, along with the $300 a week in the first week of April, assuming your state gets around to sending you the $300 a week in the first week of April in this example. So each state is different. And this is where the extent of the unemployment benefits problem becomes even worse. As much as 10% of unemployment benefits, we're talking $36 billion was lost due to fraud, because what scammers are doing is filing for unemployment benefits and receiving unemployment benefits on behalf of other individuals who didn't need unemployment benefits in the first place. Imagine getting a Form 1099, which is essentially a notice from the IRS telling you that you have to pay tax on unemployment benefits that you never filed for and that you never received. Now, keep in mind that I'm about to show you a segment from Fox which talks about tax on unemployment benefits, and we know since that segment came out that there's a $10,200 federal tax waiver on the first $10,200 of unemployment benefits in 2020 for households making under $150,000 a year. But stay focused on the extent of the problem. The guidance from the IRS and Senator Susan Collins from Maine actually weighing in on how serious this problem is. Imagine millions of our fellow Americans receiving a notice from the IRS to pay tax on unemployment benefits that they didn't file for and didn't receive, and $36 billion being lost due to unemployment benefit fraud. This is a serious problem. Let's take a look at this segment from Fox as they highlight this problem, because this is the bad news with trying to get unemployment benefits out quickly. Remember, the states want to get unemployment benefits out quickly, the residents need them, and this is where scammers step in and say, hey, I'm going to steal someone's social, I'm going to change the mailing address, and when the checks come, I'm going to take the checks and deposit them in a bank account because I was able to set up that bank account because I've hacked the social security number of that individual. Just unbelievable. Let's roll the tape and hear about this rather disturbing segment from Fox as they highlight the bad news with the speedy rollout of unemployment benefits. Let's watch.
There are millions of people being told to pay tax on unemployment benefits they did not ask for and didn't receive. Blake Berman's got the story. Blake, is this all about those fraudulent emergency unemployment checks?
It is, yeah. The CARES Act, Stuart, from last year, as you know, $360 billion for unemployment benefits to people who really needed it. Here's the issue. The Labor Department says as much as 10%, so potentially $36 billion of that was subject to fraud. Essentially, scammers filing for unemployment benefits using someone else's name. Listen here to Senator Susan Collins explain part of the problem.
We experienced widespread unemployment compensation fraud last spring. What we saw were these criminal enterprises ruthlessly exploiting gaps in systems and states all over the country.
Unemployment benefits are taxable, meaning if someone filed in your name, you could have a really big headache, unfortunately, if you haven't had one already with this coming up here soon. The IRS, though, Stu, is trying to get ahead of this. Here's what they said in a statement recently, saying, quote, taxpayers who received an incorrect form for unemployment benefits they did not receive should contact the issuing state agency to request a revised form showing they did not receive these benefits. Stuart.
What a mess, huh? All right,
yeah,
Blake.
yeah.
So there you have it, everyone. The good news and the bad news with unemployment benefits. The good news is that the $300 a week has been signed into law. It's well over a week now that the president signed it into law. But states may take more time to roll it out. And the US Labor Department actually acknowledged this in a private memo to states across the country. Also, we are seeing the rising massive number of cases of unemployment benefit fraud, where again, millions of our fellow Americans are being asked to account for unemployment benefits that they never filed for, and unemployment benefits that essentially were claimed in their name by fraudsters. They never got those unemployment benefits. They never even filed for them. And there could also be cases where you file for unemployment benefits, but perhaps your mail was stolen, and perhaps a fraudster knew that you were on unemployment benefits but stole the checks or managed to somehow reroute the money by communicating with the unemployment benefit department and changing your bank account information, so thereby rerouting the money away from you towards them. This, unfortunately, is the bad news, the bad part of trying to roll out the unemployment benefits so quickly, and it creates essentially a great opportunity for scammers and hackers to be able to cheat and to be able to rob people in this situation. I hope this doesn't happen to you, but I do want our viewers and subscribers to be aware. This channel, the Ignition Time channel, is about the country, the economy, and your money. I want you to be aware, and I will always tell you the truth wherever the truth might lead us. For me, it's not about the red or the blue. It's about the red, white, and blue. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. I'm American. We are all Americans first. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. I hope you learned something new. Please share this video with friends and family if you learned something new. That would mean a lot to me. Please click the like button. Please subscribe. Please enable notifications. That really helps out the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.